Ladies and gentlemen, Theater Within's artistic director, Joe Raiola.
I got to get something off my chest right off the top here. Those of you who were here at last year's tribute at Symphony Space may recall that I came out. I said I was about to turn 70, and I wasn't feeling so well. I was having a lot of aches and pains. And I said that I didn't sugarcoat it anymore, that when someone asked me how I was feeling, I would just look at them and I would say, headache, backache, earache, sore throat, runny nose, fever, allergy, acne, arthritis, acid reflux, acid indigestion, hypertension, hyperventilation, hair loss, bad mood, depression, menopause, abortion, spastic colon, limp dick, coughing, hacking, sneezing, wheezing, itching, sniffling, flaking, aching, dry skin, dry mouth, watery eyes, unsightly rash, toe jam, internal bleeding, liver dysfunction, heart palpitation, massive hemorrhage, confused knuckles, Trump derangement syndrome, and anal leakage. Yeah, I know. And it's absolutely no surprise that Trump derangement syndrome is followed by anal leakage. I know. But here's what's been bothering me. I forgot to mention atrial fibrillation, not caused by a heart valve problem, but something else, such as high blood pressure or sleep apnea, and thoughts of suicide. So now I feel much better. Thank you for listening to that. We could get on with tonight's tribute. It's my 45th year appearing. I'm going to tell you something I've learned over the years. No one is here to see me. No one. And I'm not offended by that. I'm not in the least bit upset. In fact, in all honesty, I want you to know that if I were you, I wouldn't be here to see me either. I'd be wanting me to get off the stage as quickly as possible so we can get to the John Lennon songs, you know? But since I'm here and it's tradition, I figure I might as well say something. And the question I've been asking myself is, given what's going on in the country and the world, what needs to be said? I mean, what would you say if you could say anything you wanted to at the top of the 45th annual John Lennon tribute? And I know that there are some people here today, maybe a lot of people, who don't want to hear anything about politics. They just want to hear their favorite John Lennon songs. Give me some truth, power to the people, and revolution, but no politics. I completely respect that. I want you to know I'm sick of politics too. Country is so deeply divided. We don't know how to talk to each other. We don't know how to talk to people we disagree with. And I've got a solution I want to suggest tonight. I think we need to come up with one sentence, one simple declarative sentence that everyone, no matter how far to the political left or how far to the political right, we could agree on. And we build a consensus from there. But the problem is words, language. Language and words have a tendency to obscure reality. They hide reality. Words don't mean the things that they describe. And we see this in our everyday lives. Like I've noticed the Impossible Burger. It's possible. Essential oils are not essential. The everything bagel does not have everything. It doesn't even have most things. Horseradish doesn't have horse. The beefsteak tomato doesn't have beef or steak. I was in the health food store yesterday, and I swear I'm not making this up. I saw a product called eggs from plants. I took a picture of it and haven't put it on the screen so you knew I wasn't lying. Eggs from plants. That's my statement that I'm hoping we can all agree on this evening. There are no eggs from plants. And here's the thing. I think John Lennon would agree with all of us that there are no eggs from plants, and this is a subject John knew something about. After all, John did sing I Am the Eggman. The fact of the matter is, John Lennon was politically engaged. John and Yoko marched on the street to promote peace, civil rights, social justice, free speech. And for doing that, John Lennon was called an enemy of the state by the Nixon administration, and he was targeted for deportation. And the only reason John Lennon wasn't kicked out of this country and kicked out of this city that he loved was because a federal appeals court stepped up and said to a immoral, corrupt, and ethically bankrupt president, "No, sir," to quote an old Beatles song, "you can't do that. John Lennon stays." All right? And it is difficult to imagine that scenario playing out now in some ways. I don't need to tell you, we all see what's happening, how this country is treating immigrants now. Masked agents on the streets, deporting people to foreign countries without due process. I wonder what John Lennon would have thought about that. What would John Lennon think about the war in Gaza, or the war in Ukraine, or what's happening now in Sudan? You know, I don't know. I can't speak for John. I'm not presumptuous enough to do that. But here's something that I do want to say. We all know that the president changed what used to be called the Department of Defense to the Department of War. And you know what? I think he's going in the right direction now. I just think he should go a step further and call it the Department of War is over if you want it. Listen, we're here because we love John. We're celebrating his life and his music. But it's worth saying we're also here to affirm certain values that John's highest values that he didn't always live up to, but we know what they are. You don't need me to enumerate them now. So I want to invite you tonight, in your own way, plant a few seeds of love in your heart for yourself, for your family, for your neighbors, for your friends, for your city, for your state, for your community, and the whole world, and nourish those seeds until they blossom. And remember, as John so beautifully put it, love is a flower you have to let grow. Welcome everybody to the 45th Annual John Lennon Tribute in New York City. Thanks. Thank you.